In a powerful African kingdom, a king once laughed at a boy he believed was foolish. Every day, the king placed 2 coins in front of him, 1 gold and 1 silver. And every single day, the boy chose the silver coin. The entire kingdom laughed at him. But what the king didn't realize was that the boy might have been the smartest person in the entire kingdom. Long before the noise of modern cities and the rush of machines, there lived a wise king who ruled his land with strength and fairness. His palace stood proudly on a hill overlooking the bustling markets, the red earth roads, and the villages that stretched across the green valleys. Among all the people who served in the king's court, there was one man who stood above the rest in wisdom. He was the king's most trusted minister. Whenever the kingdom faced a difficult decision, the king would turn to him. "Call the minister," the king would say. And sure enough, the minister always had an answer, clear, thoughtful, and fair. If farmers argued over land, the minister settled the dispute. If traders complained about taxes, the minister found balance. If neighboring chiefs threatened conflict, the minister offered solutions that brought peace. Because of this, the king trusted him deeply. But where wisdom shines brightly, jealousy often hides in the shadows. Many people in the royal court did not like how much the king relied on the minister. They whispered among themselves, "Does the king think only one man is wise? Is there no one else in this court who can advise him? Someday that minister will embarrass himself." They waited patiently for the day when the minister would finally be humbled. And then one morning, the opportunity seemed to appear. The king's strange observation. One bright morning, the king called the minister to his throne. The court was full. Chiefs, elders, guards, and advisors stood quietly, waiting to hear what the king would say. The king leaned forward with a slight smile. "My minister," he said, "you are known across this kingdom as a man of great wisdom." The minister bowed respectfully. "You are kind, Your Majesty." But the king continued, "There is something that surprises me." The court grew silent. The king said, "You are wise, but your son is a fool." The room exploded with laughter. Some courtiers tried to hide their smiles, but others laughed openly. After all, this was the moment they had been waiting for. The minister felt a sting in his chest, but he remained calm. He bowed again and asked respectfully, "Your Majesty, why do you believe my son is foolish?" The king replied, "Every morning when I visit the marketplace to greet the people, your son is always there." "Yes, Your Majesty," the minister said carefully. "And every day," the king continued, "I place 2 coins in front of him, 1 gold coin and 1 silver coin." The court leaned closer. "I ask him to choose the more valuable one," the king said. "And every single time, he picks the silver coin." The court burst into laughter again. "Imagine that," someone whispered. "A minister's son who doesn't know the value of gold." The minister forced a polite smile, but inside, he was troubled. Without saying another word, he bowed and left the palace. A father's question. That evening, the minister walked home through the dusty road that led to his compound. His mind was heavy. When he arrived, he called his son. "My son," he said calmly, "tell me something." "Yes, father." "Which is more valuable, gold or silver?" The boy answered immediately. "Gold, father. Everyone knows gold is more valuable." The minister's eyebrows tightened. "Then why?" he asked slowly. "Do you tell the king that silver is more valuable?" The boy looked at his father quietly. "And why?" the minister continued. "Do you pick the silver coin every day in front of the king?" The boy smiled slightly. "Father," he said gently, "come with me." The hidden box. The boy led his father into his room. He walked to a small wooden chest sitting in the corner. "Open it," the boy said. The minister lifted the lid, and suddenly his eyes widened. Inside the box were dozens and dozens of silver coins, so many that they nearly filled the chest. The minister stared in shock. "My son, where did all these coins come from?" The boy answered calmly, "From the king." "The king?" "Yes, father." The boy sat down beside the chest and explained. "Every morning when the king comes to the market, He places 2 coins in front of me, 1 gold and 1 silver. Yes, I know that, the minister said. And when I choose the silver coin, the boy continued. The king laughs and walks away. The minister nodded. But father, the boy said, looking into his father's eyes, have you noticed something? What is that? The king keeps asking me the same question every day. The minister paused. And do you know why? The boy asked. Why? Because he enjoys the moment. The boy smiled. He enjoys watching the foolish boy choose silver instead of gold. The minister began to understand. The boy continued, but the day I choose the gold coin, the game will end. The room fell silent. The boy tapped the chest full of coins. If I choose gold just once, I will get 1 gold coin. But if I keep choosing silver, he gestured to the overflowing chest. I receive a silver coin every single day. The boy leaned back and said softly, so tell me, father, which choice is truly more valuable? A father's realization. The minister stood there quietly. Then slowly, a smile spread across his face. In that moment, he realized something powerful. His son was not foolish. In fact, his son understood something deeper than most people in the kingdom. Sometimes wisdom is not about proving you are right. Sometimes wisdom is about understanding the long game. The minister closed the chest and placed his hand proudly on his son's shoulder. My son, he said, you are far wiser than they think. The next day at court, the next morning, the minister returned to the royal court. As he entered, some courtiers whispered and smiled. There goes the father of the foolish boy, someone muttered. But the minister only smiled calmly. When the king saw him, he said jokingly, my minister, have you spoken to your son about the difference between gold and silver? The court waited for his response. The minister bowed respectfully. Yes, your majesty, I have. And what did he say? The king asked with amusement. The minister simply replied, he understands perfectly. The king laughed, thinking it was a joke. But the minister only smiled quietly, because now he knew the truth. And sometimes, the wisest people are the ones who allow others to underestimate them. The lesson. In life, many people rush to prove they are smart. They want applause. They want recognition. They want the world to say, look how wise they are. But true wisdom is quieter. Sometimes the smartest move is the one that looks foolish to everyone else. Sometimes patience brings greater rewards than pride. And often, the world calls people foolish simply because it cannot see the strategy behind their actions. So, if people ever laugh at you, if they say you are foolish, if they do not understand your path, remember the boy who chose silver. Because sometimes the greatest victories come from the choices others don't understand.